closely at the seconds hand on a typical wristwatch, and you will likely see a rigid 1-second jump. But on an automatic mechanical watch, that hand glides in a smooth, continuous sweep. That harsh tick happens because inside a standard quartz watch sits a printed circuit board and a small button battery pushing out a highly regulated electrical pulse. An automatic watch contains zero electronics. It relies entirely on you. Here is the central engineering problem. Keeping accurate time requires a uniform, unwavering supply of energy. A clock needs steady fuel to measure out steady seconds. But human beings are not steady. We walk, we gesture, we type, we swing a tennis racket. The kinetic energy generated by a human wrist throughout a normal day is chaotic, random, and entirely uneven. To solve this problem, 18th century watchmakers engineered two specific components: a weighted semicircle called a rotor and a coiled strip of steel known as the mainspring. An automatic watch uses these two parts to capture human motion and translate it into a perfectly measured rhythm. The mechanism begins with the rotor. This is a semicircular weight mounted at the very center of the movement. Because it hangs on a central pivot, gravity and the momentum of your wrist cause this weight to spin freely in 360-degree rotations as you move. That erratic spinning energy is immediately caught by a system of reversing gears. No matter which direction the rotor swings, these gears ensure the resulting force is pushed in a single direction toward the power source. All captured force is routed into the mainspring, a long, extremely thin ribbon of hardened metal packed tightly into a brass container called the barrel. As the gears push on it, the ribbon coils tighter, transforming your kinetic movement into stored potential energy. The barrel housing this spring acts as a vital buffer, keeping the energy from surging all at once. A fully wound barrel will hold a stable, consistent power reserve of 40 to 70 hours. Through the rotor and the mainspring, the simple act of wearing the watch creates a stable fuel source derived entirely from your physical life. Left to its own devices, that tightly coiled mainspring is under immense tension. It constantly attempts to snap back to its uncoiled state. To channel that power, the barrel is connected to the gear train, a series of interlocking brass wheels that act as the transmission for the watch. The gear train performs a crucial mathematical trick. The mainspring barrel rotates slowly, once every 7 hours. By running that energy through progressively smaller wheels, the gear train multiplies the speed until the final wheel turns multiple times per second. That high-speed energy is finally controlled by the regulation system, the escapement, and the tightly coiled hairspring of the balance wheel. The escapement is a locking mechanism. It catches the speeding gear train and releases it forward in tiny, mathematically exact increments, 6 to 10 times per second. The balance wheel oscillates back and forth at a fixed frequency, acting as the regulator that tells the escapement exactly when to release that energy. This sequence, raw tension routed through multiplying gears and metered by a pulsing wheel, is what converts stored physical power into the accurate measurement of time. The result is a continuous, unbroken chain. A human gesture tightens a spring, that tension drives a set of gears, and a regulating wheel meters it out until it terminates at a sweeping hand on a dial. We can now return to the quartz watch and see why it differs so significantly from the mechanical system. A quartz crystal vibrating at over 32,000 times per second is factually the more precise way to measure time. However, a quartz movement operates as a self-contained circuit. It draws power from a battery and keeps time regardless of whether it is being worn or sitting in a drawer. An automatic watch functions as a mechanical extension of the wearer. It is a system that only stays in motion and keeps time because the human body acts as its ultimate power source.